be called a champion on the Denny's PBA Tour is the ultimate thank you for a lifetime of commitment, for a career full of dedication, for the road ahead, and for the journey that has just begun.
Yeah! Right there! Right
there! Those who pass the test will take their place alongside bowling's elite and will forever be known as a PBA champion. Who will be next to be called champion? The Denny's PBA Tour on ESPN starts now.
Tokyo, Japan. With more than 12 million residents, this megacity is home to the largest metropolitan economy in the world, generating more than $1.35 trillion a year. It's also home to the Japan Cup, the event kicking off the 2006-2007 Denny's PBA Tour season. Welcome inside Tokyo Metro Gymnasium in Tokyo, and the opening festivities are underway. What a great day for bowling here in Japan. A huge crowd expected of more than 3,000 inside the Tokyo Metro Gymnasium for the 2006-2007 season opener, the Japan Cup. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, Norm Duke with you, and we're excited to watch some of the world's best bowlers on display. Starting guys with Robert Smith.
Robert Smith, in my opinion, the strongest ball on the PBA Tour. That 16-pound bowling ball going down there with about 600 RPMs. The pins have no chance, Norm.
Right, and his ability to get pins to hit other pins is remarkable. This ball only hits about 5 pins, Randy, maximum. Pins hit the others.
We'll also see Ryan Shafer has won 4 titles in his career. The last time we saw him on TV, the World Championships in March.
Ryan Shafer said his favorite place to bowl in the world is Tokyo, Japan. He absolutely lives for this tournament.
Well, this is a big tournament. Ryan's always around in the big events.
Speaking of big, speaking of the events last year, World Championship in March, Walter Ray Williams Jr. tied Earl Anthony's tour title record of 41. He goes for 42 today.
The greatest player to ever throw a bowling ball right there.
And I'm still in constant awe watching him perform. At 47 years old, he's still on the top of his game.
Pete Weber will try to be on the top of his game, guys, as well. Won in Hammond, Indiana last year. Such an emotional moment for PDW.
And in my opinion, the most physically gifted to ever throw a bowling ball down the lane, Norm.
Well, not to mention the most intense. He just commands attention when he's in on the lanes.
Guys, here's our tournament format. We have 52 total games. The bowlers will try to get to the stepladder finals. The top 9 make it to the show. Field size 144 to begin, 20 of whom from the PBA.
Norm, congratulations on a great week here in Tokyo. You just missed the telecast. Talk about your experience in terms of lane conditions. What's the best way to attack this lane pattern?
Well, Randy, the oil that they're using, when it gets to the back end, it's almost impossible to get your ball to roll through that oil and get the corner pins out. That bodes well for the power players like Robert Smith and Pete Weber, both able to get their ball to really get angular on the back end, snapping that 10 pin. I like the power today.
So are you predicting a Robert Smith-Pete Weber showdown?
Well, that's really hard to predict that because of Walter Ray Williams in the second slot. I always preferred the second slot when I was going for the title. Because if I won that match, I knew I had the advantage. Walter Ray is in that position today, and he could win his second Japan Cup.
Gentlemen, it was unforgettable last year, Hammond, Indiana. Pete Weber trying to win his first Denny's PBA Tour title since his legendary father, Dick, passed away, and he did just that.
And this week here in Tokyo, Petey finds himself in the most enviable position in a stepladder format, the #1 seed needing only 1 win.
Yeah, and when Pete Weber decides it's his turn to win, few people have anything to say about it.
As emotionally charged a player as we've ever had on the tour. Now, Walter Williams Jr. Who can forget last year at Woodland Bowl? More history. Number 41. He needs one more tour title to break the record.
And you were starting to wonder whether or not Walter Ray would ever tie Earl's record, but he did get it done. And if Walter Ray wins his first match today, guess what? You've got another Weber-Walter Ray showdown.
Yeah, and Walter Ray Williams has owned Pete Weber in title matches, winning the last 4. Don't think that Pete Weber isn't aware of that fact.
Norm, here's a stepladder bracket to look at. Mike Machuga, the 9 seed, will try to work his way up to number 1 seeded Pete Weber, trying to win the 2006 Japan Cup from here in Tokyo.
Petey, talk about what kind of an advantage it is to be the number 1 seed.
Well, Randy, I really don't believe there's an advantage being the number 1 seed. There's going to be 5 games before I get to it. Lanes changing constantly, so I really don't know what to expect until I get out there and bowl. So I really don't feel I have an advantage.
What's your favorite part about Japan?
My favorite part about Japan is my friends and the food. I love the food.
Thanks, Petey. Good luck.
So Pete Weber and the other 8 bowlers on our show today going for the $50,000 first place prize. It's a $200,000 total prize fund here at the Japan Cup beginning the 06-07 Denny's PBA Tour season. Now let's recap some of the matches that have taken place so far. Here's Robert Smith, Maximum Bog, his 9th year on the Denny's PBA Tour. In the offseason, he moved from California to Captain Cook, Hawaii on the Big Island.
Yeah, and maybe we should change Robert's nickname to Captain Hook. Be appropriate. But you can see just how he's getting all over the bowling ball at the bottom of the swing. Look at the revolutions on that thing. It's crazy.
And that sideways angular motion on the back end is what gives him the ability to kick those 10s when other people flat 10 in the gutter.
He was head-to-head, guys, in this match with Mike Machuga from Erie, Pennsylvania. Coming off a fine season last year, trying to get himself going.
Yeah, and Norm, just like you said, I mean, you can see that Mike Machuga is struggling with his entry angle into the pocket.
He's trying to get the same angular motion that Robert Smith is getting. It's just not easy to do.
Robert Smith gives him an open here in the 6th frame.
Difficult spare, trying to convert it. 10-pin stands for Robert Smith.
Then at this point in the match, Mike Machuga elected to move farther outside, trying to get away from Robert Smith and all that traction he's creating inside.
Yeah, you try to beat Robert Smith on Robert Smith's A game when Robert Smith's bowling ball is twice as strong as yours. So, Norm, in my opinion, a bold but gutsy move for Mike Machuga here.
I think the right move, Randy. The only thing is Mike hadn't been able to throw that many shots with that angle. I think that he needed a little more reconnaissance out there, a little more confidence in what his ball motion is going to be.
After the high shot from Machuga, Smith tried to answer and find the pocket himself. Not easy with the challenging oil conditions. 9th frame now for Machuga and a 4-pin.
Just can't find the right way to get his ball to hit the 1-3 pocket consistently from any angle.
Well, that's correct, and he's making those small, minute adjustments from out right now, and just none of them are working. Possibly the wrong ball choice.
A strike comes too little too late for Mike Machuga, who does make the show in the final 9, and the 9th seed goes down to Robert Smith in this match.
At this point, Machuga, one of the top players in the world, I'd say in the top 5 right now.
And Robert Smith, all he needs to do is keep it on the lane. And interesting, he changes balls just to get a different look. And that's a winner.
Keeps on the lane and then some. 9-pin count there. And Robert Smith advances 222 to 200 in the 2nd match. So Robert Smith, an impressive outing. Next up, though, in his way on the ladder to the championship match is Ryan Shafer from Elmira, New York. We continue with our broadcast of the opener of the 06-07 Denny's PBA Tour season, the Japan Cup from Tokyo, Japan. Robert Smith, an impressive win over Mike Machuga. He's off to the next round.
Robert Smith is known for having one of the strongest strike balls on tour. Robert, talk about what kind of an advantage your powerful strike ball is over here in Japan.
Well, for one thing, with the way the lanes tend to play out here, the oil pushes down a lot, so you have to be able to create a lot of back-end movement to get the ball to turn around the corner, because the lanes do carry down a lot. So for me, always bowling out here, for some reason, I do very well. And coming into this show, having a few games being bowled on prior to me, I think I might have the advantage to be able to create enough angle to get the ball back. And hopefully I'm going to need a few breaks, too. I mean, there are past champions between Walter and Barnes. So, you know, but I'm going to go in. I've been here before. I'm not nervous. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just going to go out and throw the ball like I know how to do.
Thanks, Robert. Looking for his second Japan Cup victory.
Randy, the first came back in 2002, so here's the stepladder bracket up to date. Mike Machuga falling to Smith in that second match of the event. Of the 9 bowlers who have made this TV show, all trying to get to Pete Weber as the top seed. So our third match set to go. This is the first ever TV head-to-head matchup between Robert Smith and Ryan Shafer. He's moved to Captain Cook, Hawaii, he has. Originally from Southern California.
Great looking shot there. You can actually hear the bowling ball. Sounds like it's chewing part of the lane surface there, Norm.
That's exactly what I'm hearing, and I've never heard that from my shots.
Rev rate with Maximum Bob. We'll break that down.
I'm interested to see what Ryan Shafer does here, noticing that Mike Machuga in the preceding match moved out away from the Robert Smith traction.
But, you know, Ryan's got a little bit different rotation, though. He's got a little bit more spin to his shot. He may be all right in there.
A strike for Ryan Shafer from near Elmira, New York, 7th tier of New York State. Our Ace Hardware matchup. Randy, break it down for us.
Ryan Shafer had a really nice season. Robert Smith, very disappointed that he didn't win. He had a lot of chances and never got to the winner's circle.
Well, he couldn't get out of the round of 8 last year. I think he lost about 5 in a row. If you can't get to the top 4, you can't win the tournament, and that was his downfall last year.
Last show for Ryan, World Championship, lost to eventual champ Walter A. Williams Jr. by 23 pins. Finished 3rd. 4-pin.
And Ryan electing to use 2 different balls, something a little bit more aggressive on the left lane than the right lane, Norm, and he's staying in. But here's a great look, lane level of Ryan Shafer's little style here. And you can see he's got a lot more side rotation than most of the guys on tour today. Most guys, I would think, you would agree with me, Norm, they're a little more up the back, a little more rolly. He tends to get more on the side.
He does. He spins that ball through the heads, gives him a more consistent flow through the front part of the lane, and as a byproduct, he gets consistent recovery on the back end.
Back to Robert Smith. Second frame for him. Early going. Step ladder match here.
It's interesting to see what Robert Smith is going to do throughout the day. You've noticed he's already run out of approach room on the right lane. He's standing in front of the approach. I can't imagine him bowling 4 more games in this heat without throwing that ball. He throws it, goes over the lane, and lands halfway down there. Doesn't even see the front part of the lane, Randy.
Going to go to the Maximum Bob loft.
Wow. A lot of steam on that spare ball. Takes care of the 7-pin. That second match, impressive for Smith over Mike Machuga, who did win a title last year. Robert just one TV show appearance last season, 63rd U.S. Open in New Jersey, where he lost to Michael Fagan, who had a great run by 2 pins.
I've got a feeling that Robert is on a mission this season. I think he's rededicated himself, and there's a lot of incentive for him to do well, and I think he's going to be back in the winner's circle shortly. Unless he throws a lot of shots like that.
Yikes. Big 4, Norm. What does he do here?
Well, you know, Robert's elected to use the same ball on both lanes, so in his mind, he has to overhit the left lane, where Ryan Shafer's going with a more aggressive ball to accommodate more hook. I think he just overhit that shot.
And Norm, how difficult is it when you're standing in front of the ball return on the right lane and trying to use your regular approach on the left lane?
Well, it's too difficult for me to accomplish. That's why I don't do it. I just kind of walk around that ball return. Some of these big, strong guys can just stand right in front of it and take 3 steps and throw it 15 miles an hour. I just can't understand how they can accomplish that.
So Walter A. Williams Jr. remains the only on TV to complete the big 4. That incredibly difficult split. An open frame early for Smith. Can Ryan Shafer take advantage? No, he cannot. Way light.
Ryan Shafer hitting the pocket both shots to start the match. I know this kind of fooled him.
That looked like it got a little bit too far to the right, but as dry as the lanes look like they're getting. You would think it'd get back from there, but that one didn't.
That's oil carry down for you. He spun it just a little long, and it caught that spillway.
A lot of pins to cover here, guys, for a spare. Will not do it.
That's even hard to add up.
Well, he's got 42 in the third. He's actually now trailing by 2 pins after Robert Smith goes big 4. It's not very often you big 4 on a spare and your opponent opens and you still have the lead.
Yeah.
Now he's got a rebound from that difficult spare attempt.
Yeah, both players at this point need to find something consistent. Both of them open in the third frame, both of them with what they thought were better shots, and I think that the results indicated.
Drastic difference in where they're starting from on the approach, what boards, and the moves that have to be made because of the way these 2 lanes are playing. Is that part of it, Norm?
That is part of it. And, you know, here's the next equation. Once you get the ball to the pocket, how do you get the corner pins out? There is a lot of oil right in front of those pins, and it just will not let the bowling ball roll.
Well, you said it best when you said the power players can create a little bit more angle, and that ball there with Ryan Shafer just hit flat. And that's why he left the weak 10. He doesn't have enough angle. His ball's not strong enough down the lane to carry that hit.
Dead on arrival.
So the former PBA Rookie of the Year, Ryan Shafer, won that in '87. Takes care of that 10 pin for a mark. Now, match play head-to-head, Robert Smith had a good result with Ryan.
Robert's ball gets back from that spot. And maybe here in Japan we should change Robert's nickname to Godzilla.
I agree. Godzilla. But very appropriate.
I mean, that's just nasty stuff coming out of his hand.
Great to hear the audio effect, too, of that rev rate. Now the ball is ripping down the lane. Changes lanes. And has all 10 down. Number 10 falls late.
And in Japan, Dave Ryan, you would say, Shori no Rokuju Fito.
60 feet to success.
Absolutely, baby. 60 feet to success in Japanese.
I've got to memorize that. The trademark call. It's an interesting match, guys. Back and forth here. You see that Ryan's had plenty of Japan Cup experience. And several years back, his best finish runner-up. Each bowler struggling the early open frame, now trying to find command of the TV pair. Can they do it is the question.
That was an excellent shot by Ryan. The ball still did not behave like he anticipated. I think he thought that ball was going to be flush off his hand, Randy.
Yeah, and that was, you know, obviously further left at the arrows than the shot before on that lane, and
they just had to move
result.
a little, yeah, just a little bit to get flush.
It's hard to imagine Ryan Shafer, guys, actually is near the bubble of the 2007 Dexter Tournament of Champions. He's 5th in line. His last win 55 events ago, the 2003 Empire State Open. So there is some pressure. Arguably one of the most talented on tour, looking for a win and the drought. 10 pin.
So he exposes that ball to a little more dry. You could tell it's farther right than the last shot he made on this lane. He thinks that's going to recover back, much like Robert Smith's ball went through the nose from that region. Still dead on arrival. He's got to figure out how to get the 10 pin off.
What's the move?
I thought that was the move. At this point, he's got to rethink it. Maybe
the last 2 shots looked identical to me, both flat 10s on the same lane with the same ball.
Right, but he got that one into the dry quicker and with more on it. It just didn't respond that way. So he's going to, you know, have to exaggerate that motion, or he needs to move right and get the ball to stay in that track zone longer.
So Ryan Shafer was last here at the Japan Cup in 2003, a 5th place finish, trying to take care of Robert Smith. Step ladder finals, leading the way to the top seed, Pete Weber. A guy named Walter A. Williams Jr. is up there as well, going for his 42nd tour title to set the all-time record. Much more of this exciting match when we come back to Tokyo, Japan. Welcome back, everyone, to the Japan Cup. Midway point of this match between Ryan Shafer and Robert Smith. Stepladder finals, all trying to get to the top seed, Pete Weber. 12-pin advantage for Smith. Looks for a turkey here. Try to stay hot. Boy, he's way left to begin this shot.
Wow, and that ball looked like it hit a puddle of oil about 45 feet down the lane.
He's already got one shot of his to the right, overhooked for the big 4. That's the thing he's trying to stay away from. Now he gets one in the oil. it backs off for the 2-8-10. Now he doesn't know which direction is his miss room, Randy.
And with all the traffic that's been on the lanes today, I mean, the front part of the lane has to be a mess, Norm, and the oil that's carried down the lane. And right now, Robert Smith's having a tough time trying to figure out which direction to throw it in.
Don't forget, gentlemen, coming up next Sunday, ESPN has live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour, the USBC Masters, the first USA event of the 06-07 Denny's PBA Tour season, and it's a major to open up our season as well. Hurrying back to the pocket, and the 9 stands.
Good grief. I can't believe he fell off that shot and got so much hand in it.
Well, somebody caught him. Somebody made a noise in the crowd and caught him.
And then the solid 9.
And he still goes stone 9.
Nearly 3,000 fans have packed into this Tokyo Gymnasium. A lot of bowling fans on hand. He's had a lot of success as Robert at the Japan Cup. However, 46 events for Maximum Bob. Wants to get back in the winner's circle here today. Here's Shafer. Also, very much in need of a victory. All 10 down.
That was his best shot of the match. I tell you, one more here could really put the hurt on Robert Smith.
Second TV appearance for Ryan in the last 4 events. We talked about March, where he finished 3rd place at the World Championships at Woodland Bowl, Indianapolis. On a day Denny's PBA Tour history was made. Walter Ray won his 41st that day.
Ryan Shafer trying to get the first strike of the game on the left lane for himself. He's still going with the ball that just has not been working. It's interesting to see how this shot's going to work out for him.
I mean, how many adjustments can you make before it's time to change to another bowling ball?
It's a good shot.
Same exact DOA hit.
Right, and it looks like he's just throwing the same shot. He's not. He's making adjustments every time. It's just not behaving down the lane like he's expecting.
See, and here's the thing, though, Norrie. He goes to a weaker ball, a ball that's not as aggressive as that ball. Then what happens?
Well, it might retain its energy and give him a little more angular behavior on the back, kicking the 10-pin. But it might not hook at all, Randy.
So much intricate decision-making involved at this level. Takes care of the 10-pin. It's strategy as the lanes break down, and then with the equipment, Norm, you have to make that right call.
Well, not to mention that the more 10-pins you leave, the more you throw that plastic ball down there to spare the 10-pin, which carries the oil down twice as fast as the big balls do. So it makes that problem harder.
Back to Maximum Bob. A lot of loft here. Works on a spare. Has help with a 9. Down it goes, and a strike for Robert Smith.
Well, he's going to that loft. You talked about, Norm. Look how far left he is. That ball is about 13 feet, 12 feet in the air before it touches the lane, and that's the only way that Robert can play that right lane. He's got to get so far left, and he's run out of room on that lane. Now he's going to go with the height theory.
The height theory. I like it.
Different lane, different approach. Hurries into the pocket and blasts 10 into the pit. Big strike, foundation frame for Robert Smith.
Boy, he got his hand all the way under this ball, and he minimized the rotation on it so that it would pick up a little earlier and then not get angular. I mean, for us, not angular.
Yeah, well, and with that hit there, no matter what Ryan Shafer does, he can't shut out Robert Smith.
Shafer tries to respond.
Well, he's got that right lane. Now what's he going to do on this lane, Norm? He hasn't struck on this lane, and he's thinking about it right now. He's like, okay, what do I do?
Next Sunday, we open up the U.S. side of the Denny's PBA Tour. Live coverage of the USBC Masters from Milwaukee. 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 on the West Coast. The Denny's PBA Tour begins the season again on the U.S. side with a major championship. It'll be exciting to watch. We can't wait to start our live coverage.
From one of the greatest bowling cities in the U.S., Milwaukee.
Another big shot here for Shafer. This lane's been his bugaboo.
Same ball.
There's the strike he needed. He finally has conquered the left lane.
I tell you.
Well, I'm not sure I'd say conquer.
Conquered.
I mean, that's just one strike. But he needs another hit here. And finally, Norm, he gets this ball to hook hard enough down the lane to get flush in the 1-3.
I think he just softens up and gives the ball time to react, which, you know, you soften up, the ball might go high. But, you know, at this point, he needs a strike to stay alive. So what if it's high?
He had to make the adjustment, no doubt about it. Had to take the chance that he could find the left lane and strike there.
And with the strike ball of Robert Smith, this is an important shot. You must make Robert Smith get 2, not 1.
Way off the mark, it looked like, upon release. Somehow got 9 down, and the 2-pin stands.
Now, this is just a whiff. Ryan throws a bad shot here and misses way right. He's lucky to get 9. And right now, Robert Smith can get up in the 10th frame and throw the first strike and win this.
The first errant shot that Ryan Shafer's made on the left lane since we started.
You saw the look in his eyes. Robert Smith knows what he needs here. To the 10th frame. For the moment, Shafer a 2-pin lead. That's about to change.
It really must be nice to know that needing a strike in the 10th to win, you have one of the strongest strike balls in the game. Well, I'll say one of the strongest strike ball in the game.
That's what he needs. Wrap it up and advance forward up the ladder.
Standing in front of the ball return, going to have to heave this one all the way over the gutter.
Big loft. Whoa, what happened?
Oh my. Yeah, he just overhit and over lofted that shot. As soon as it hit the puddle, it started to skid out and never recovered.
But you heard Robert say you got to get it right, and he didn't do that. And this ball never found that dry zone down the lane.
Correct, it stayed in the puddle the whole way, just kept spinning out. Didn't even get to the head pin. That's what's so unbelievable about oil carry down, is you can keep that much spin off the head pin.
Right.
What a change of events in a hurry for Ryan Shafer, sitting at the bench here and watching an open frame for Robert Smith. And it's over.
Yeah, I know Robert's disappointed, but he had a great week. Just one shot that cost him his 2nd Japan Cup title.
So ready, Ryan Shafer takes it 191-172, climbing the ladder. The 2C Walter Ray Williams Jr. is ready for his match as well.
Walter Ray, a historic win for you last season, where you knocked off Pete Weber to win the World Championships and tie Earl Anthony's record of 41 career titles. If you win your first match today, you're back in the title match against Pete. What would it mean to you to go up against your old nemesis for title number 42?
Well, I mean, Pete's a great player. I mean, he's 2nd all-time career earnings, and he's 4th in a number of titles. And we've both been on tour for the last 26 years. He's been on actually a couple more years than I am, but it would be an honor to bowl against him and to beat him again. I mean, it would be awesome to get both titles, 41 and 2, against him.
Walter Ray certainly hopes that happens as he goes for his 42nd tour title. That would set the record. Standing his way, Ryan Shafer from Elmira, New York. Those two head-to-head next. We're getting set for our next matchup at the Tokyo Metro Gymnasium. Japan Cup opening our new season as Ryan Shafer will batter Walter Ray Williams Jr. Another PBA legend. Parker Ball III signed some autographs. Randy now joined by a special guest.
With me is Junichi Yajima, the winningest player in the history of the JPBA with 41 career titles. And Yajima, my question is simple. Who do you like today?
Yes, I think Pete Weber.
Pete Weber.
I hope.
Why?
This is my friend.
Okay, well, good answer. Let me just tell you this. I bowled against Yajima last year in a little town called Ito. At 60 years of age, he beat me every game.
Randy, let's recap the Denny's PBA Tour money leaders from last season. There's our Norm Duke, 2nd behind Tommy Jones, the PBA Player of the Year. Great year also for Mike Scroggins. A lot of TV shows for him. Walter Ray Williams Jr. tied the tour title record. And there he is, getting set to take on Ryan Shafer. Walter Ray, the number 2 seed, step ladder format, all trying to get to Pete Weber He's the #1 seed here in Tokyo. Walter Ray and Ryan Shafer head-to-head, 2-2 on TV. Ryan Shafer's averaging 227 in those matches. Walter Ray at 219 in the 4 total matches under the bright lights of television. So, Norm, I'm interested to see what Ryan does in terms of strategy, ball selection, and where he starts after the win over Robert Smith.
Yeah, I am too, and it looks to me like he's picked up a weaker bowling ball in skin and in shell, and it looks like he's moved farther to the right, closer to the track. He has.
Pretty big move there for Ryan Shafer, leaves the 10-pin.
And the same result.
Same week 10, different ball, different angle. I think I like what you said in his last match when he did finally carry a strike on that left lane. You said, well, I think he just got a little bit softer, gave the ball a little bit more time to turn the corner.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but you have to be too precise in not only your direction, but in your speed. All these guys are looking for a little room, Randy, because if they happen to win this game, they're going to be in the title match for the Japan Cup. I'd like to have a little room for error if it was me.
So Walter A. Williams Jr. back on TV, going for the record, owned by Earl Anthony and Walter A. now, each with 41 titles. The Hall of Famer starts his tour season on television with 8 pins down.
And, I had a feeling that we weren't going to see Walter Ray playing 5th or 6th arrow, but I think you got to question that shot that he just threw there. He did have practice, and that first shot, he tried to pipe it straight up 2nd arrow, Norm. I'm not so sure that's the way to go.
Well, I'm not so sure he just didn't make an errant shot to the left. Piping the 2nd arrow might be the exact right thing to do, but that ball looked like it was head on off his hand and would have to back off just to hit the pocket.
Guys, let's check in with the Ace Hardware matchup. Walter A. Williams Jr. and Ryan Shafer, 5th ever matchup on TV, head-to-head.
And Walter A. Williams Jr. has participated in every single Japan Cup since the start of this tournament.
The only guy to do so.
Hard to imagine. 22 years worth.
And that is the good shot that we're looking for out of Walter Ray when he's piping that 2nd arrow, as you put it, Randy.
And what an advantage for Walter Ray, because I don't see a whole lot of guys left on this telecast that can do that.
Oh, I don't either.
Here's Ryan Shafer. Avoids a split, and the 9-pin stands for him.
And in his first match against Robert Smith, he used 2 different bowling balls. Now he's using the same ball in both lanes.
And a little high on the right lane. Obviously, the one that hooks a pinch more.
Little nudge on number 9, but it stands for him. And now Ryan tries to convert the single pin spare here. Has it for the mark.
Ryan Shafer really likes bowling the likes of Pete Weber, Walter Ray Williams, all of those that are in the Hall of Fame. He thinks that if I'm going to be the best, I have to play the best. So right now, his juices are flowing. He loves this.
Always a bulldog, Norm, isn't he, when it comes to competition? Ball change here for Ryan, Randy.
Well, now he's going to something that's going to flip a little bit more in the back part of the lane. Let's see if this is the right adjustment. Same result.
10-pin.
Well, and that's the beauty of playing the lanes like Walter Ray Williams is his ball does not have to recover from outside the head pin to get flush, as Ryan's does. There's a lot of oil right there. Ryan's trying to hook the ball on the flood. It's just harder to do than it looks.
Well, Walter Ray's got angle to the pocket, playing further right. His ball's got to hit better.
But his hook is coming in the early part of the lane. The latter part of the lane is just holding into the high flush region. I just have to like that, given the number of splits we've seen in the past 2 games.
22 appearances in all for Walter Ray here, and has a 10-pin. The next up in that category is Norm Duke, 16 Japan Cup appearances. Parker Bone III has 15, and Hall of Famer Amleto Monticelli, along with Pete Weber, 14 apiece.
And all of a sudden, that straight shot does the exact same thing that Ryan's ball's doing. That flat 10, pretty good. So again, it's another question, Norm, of the lanes have broken down. There's a lot of transition. Normally, you bowl on a regular pattern, you just kind of chase the oil line left. the players did that. That didn't work. That seems to have gone away. And now Walter Ray's trying to play it further right. As you can see, the career leaders in titles. Earl and Walter Ray tied at 41. The great Mark Roth at 34. PDW at 32. Parker Bone III at 30.
Wow, what a group of legends. Rips through the wood there, all 10 down to the pit for Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Well, Walter Ray is a micro adjustment on the right lane away from big strings, I believe. And so Ryan Shafer better find the ball to use on the left lane, and he better make it work.
Wow, shrapnel everywhere there for Walter Ray. That's a perfect shot. Always the perfectionist, always the technician. Walter Ray Williams Jr. back to Shafer. He'll take it.
And a little river dance. But you know, Walter Ray kind of gave that look that he wasn't real sure what was, what was in his future. With regard to his ball reaction, I'm assuming that little look that he gave before Ryan got up on the right lane was a look of, I'm not really sure what to do.
Well, and that's not so bad for Walter Ray either, because he knows Ryan's not real sure either. And if he's hitting the pocket and Ryan's lost, Walter's going to be tough to beat in that case. Everybody watching the 10-pin right here.
Yeah.
Well, down it goes.
Yeah, you get a
4-pin stance.
Yeah, so it's either weak 10 or 4-pin, and that kind of summed up the last couple of years of my career.
And all three of the bowling balls he selected on this left lane, the same results. Weak 10 up to 4-pin. It just shows the difficulty of bowling on the professional level.
Yeah, I mean, the lanes are really goofy right now, and I don't know if Walter Ray's shot looks better than Ryan's. I think the verdict is still out on that, but one thing's for sure, Walter Ray is not going to beat himself playing that line.
No, he's not, and Walter Ray does know that a victory at 198 is just as good as a victory at 258, just win.
Gets a break on the 7. And Walter Ray, after not making TV in 22 straight events, now has made the championship round in 4 of the last 6. So, Randy talked about at the top of the broadcast, a little bit of a struggle for a span of time for Walter Ray, but he is back in his game now.
Yeah, you can't keep a good man down. You know that. I think a lot of that, though, Dave, has to do with the format and that bracket format. A lot of times you could be high average and get knocked out in the first round. I mean, stepladder finals, and good break there for Walter Ray, avoiding a split. The stepladder finals, round robin match play where you get 30 bonus points. The cream almost always rises to the top, and that's why you've got the outstanding field of competitors on today's show that you have. It's all a product of the format.
Well, not to mention that you had all of those fans with his picture on it saying 41. That was kind of the jinx.
Yeah, a lot of pressure, really.
I'm telling you.
All last year, Walter Ray had to deal with it. He can end all the anticipation with a win, though, at the Japan Cup and get number 42 to set the tour title record. We'll find out what happens. This matchup with Ryan Shafer. They're climbing the stepladder here in Tokyo, trying to get to Pete Weber. More coming up. This is the 22nd Japan Cup, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. has participated in all 22 events to this point. Here in match 4, stepladder final, trying to get to the top seed Pete Weber. Walter Ray has a 10-pin lead on Ryan Shafer. Resuming action here, Shafer is up. 6th frame. Works on a spare. Needs to get hot right now to think about taking down Walter Ray.
That's the second shot on the right lane that has come in light, and I think he likes that light hit there. It's not on the head pin. Not risking it to split.
Yeah, and it looks a lot better than a weak 10. Let's see what Ryan does on this lane. This has been the tough lane for Ryan. It's either a weak 10 or a 4-pin. He's made several ball changes. He's made different adjustments with his feet and target. Let's see if he can finally get dialed in on this left lane.
Bottom of your screen, the other finishers here in the top 9, and then Honor Norm Duke just missed. making the TV show.
Finally kicking the 10 pin out, and look at him. He's got the smirk on. Finally.
Yeah, this is another great quality shot, but more importantly, he finally gets the ball to read it the right way. And you can see the 6 pin goes to the sidewall and takes the 10 out. And that's exactly what he was looking for.
Walter Ray in the right lane. Has all 10 down.
And that's just perfect. That's a perfect shot by Walter Ray. That's what he envisioned when he stood up on the approach. The fact that the ball behaved exactly as he anticipated was one of the things that you have to look for, because once he knows he can throw it good and strike, forget about it.
This match is all even.
Walter Ray to a record in earnings, to a record TV appearances. This is 153rd. All that experience. Hopes to count on that right here. As we'll go for a spare.
He's going with that little frosting look, too. How do you like the dew?
Oh, I think it's appealing on him.
Makes him look another 10 years younger, huh? I remember the late, great Chris Schenkel used to call him the Errol Flynn of bowling.
There's the 4 pin standing for Walter Ray. Old Deadeye, as they call him. Incredibly enough, goes for his 134th singles win on TV in his Hall of Fame career.
And when he shoots a spare, like a 4 pin, he doesn't just knock the pin over. He hits that pin square in the belly every time. He doesn't have to root on his ball to hook to knock that 4 pin over.
Hence the nickname Deadeye.
Deadeye.
Great horseshoe pitcher as well. He's incredibly accurate. Here's Shafer. Oh! Almost had a 7-10, then almost used the messenger across the deck for the 10. And just a spare now.
Boy, if he strikes on that shot, too, he can literally strike out and shut Walter Ray out. Pretty good shot, Norm. The head pin, unfortunately, goes in front of the 10 pin.
That was a great shot. He's got action into the pin deck. Just didn't get the break on it.
Able to nail the spare in the 10 pin. This season, the PBA's team with Go Play Network for the inaugural Denny's PBA Tour Fantasy Bowling Challenge. Weekly and end of season prizes are available, and fans can register now at PBA.com for the first draft day, October 23rd. To draft your team or to create a league, go to PBA.com and click on the fantasy game link in the interactive section. Here's Shafer, left lane of the TV pair here at the Japan Cup. Has 10 down.
Well, he's now finding pretty good reaction on that left lane, Norm. He's getting the ball to face the 1-3 the right way. It keeps him in this match. Walter leading by 1 pin. He can strike out and seal the deal.
Walter Ray got that ball down early. It did not seem to read. The mid part of the lane kind of hooked early and then sailed dead on arrival.
It looks like he gets a little bit further right than he wanted, don't you think?
Yeah, got it off his hand a little early. Down in the floor a little early.
And of course, no trouble trying to make the 2 pin. But the deal now is Walter Ray needs to strike out here in the 10th frame to force Ryan Shafer to get the first hit and count.
See how frustrated Walter Ray was a moment ago. Having to nail that single pin spare, which he did.
Big shot for the count anyway.
Help on the 7 pin, down it goes. And a big strike to the 10th.
All right, 2 more strikes. He'll force Ryan Shafer to have to double to beat him.
Tall order. Tall order on this condition, the way the lanes are playing inside. Forcing Ryan Shafer to double right here might just be like winning.
Yeah, and Walter's only thrown 1 double the entire game.
Perfect flush strike.
Yeah, that's big time there.
Yeah, you go down to 1 knee this early, you just know it's 10 in the pit when it's from Walter Ray. Ryan Shafer did not want to see that shot.
Trying to put things away here. 8-pin count on his last ball for 6-10.
That gives Walter Ray 215. Ryan Shafer now must strike on the first ball and 9 spare. He will win this match. Anything less than that, Walter Ray will win sitting in that chair right there.
Shafer really good in the clutch. There's a time that he struggled with these shots when he really needed them here in the last 5 years. One of the best. Got it to the right.
And it misses the pocket badly for a split. 4, 6, 7 standing, and disaster when he needed that strike.
Norm, to me, it looks like he just overhits this shot. It looks like it's going in the right direction. He certainly didn't pull it, but man, does it overhook down the lane.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he overhit it. He has to hit the dry to get this ball to knock the 10-pin out. But if you overhit it, it over-responds in the dry, and then it's head on.
And Walter will now move on and face PDW Pete Weber.
It is over, and can you imagine now what is on the line for Walter Ray Williams Jr.? He has defeated Ryan Shafer. He is to the championship match, 1 victory away from setting the all-time tour titles record. And who stands in his way? His old rival, none other than PDW. It'll be Pete Weber, Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the championship match here at the Japan Cup. If Walter Ray wins it, he'll set the tour title record. Pete wants another championship. That's the last thing he wants to see happen. Walter Ray goes for history when we return to Tokyo. Well, it has been a very unique and entertaining atmosphere here at the Japan Cup. A lot of the world's top bowlers involved in a celebrity auction. There's Mika Corbinelli, Parker Bone III, and Brad Angelo for Buffalo involved too. Big Wes Malott signs a bowling pin. We are getting ready for the finals. Pete Weber, Walter Ray Williams Jr. going for the all-time tour titles record here at the Japan Cup.
Dave, one of my favorite things to do when I'm in Japan is to go out and sample some of the fine Japanese cuisine. And, well, hey, take a look for yourself. Well, we're here in Tokyo at a shabu shabu restaurant. Shabu shabu is a Japanese cuisine. It means dunk dunk, where we basically put food in boiling water and cook it. And with me is 6-time PBA champion Robert Smith, 8-time PBA champion and reigning player of the year Tommy Jones, and 24-time titleist, if you count the Masters, Norm Duke. Guys, we're just waiting for the grub so we can dig in. All right, Tommy Jones, you're first up. Show us how this shabu shabu thing works.
Yeah, the peanut oil. All right, we're going to take this raw beef here, and we're just going to stick it in this boiling water, and we're going to let that cook. I'm going to let it cook a little longer than other people, but anywhere between 10 and 30 seconds, and you're going to take it out, and it's delicious.
You make sure it's dead, huh?
I make sure it's dead. No mooing for me.
Tommy, that thing's still moving. Robert, you always hear players say that one of their biggest goals is to make the Japan Cup. Why is that?
Well, first thing is, I mean, for one thing, if you do make the Japan Cup, you're always in the top 16, which means you've always had a decent year and a good run at Bowl of the Year. You know, sometimes you need breaks to get it, but the biggest thing is when you get to come back out here, I mean, you get the whole ambiance of being in Japan. I mean, the people bowling out here, and then you get the food. I mean, where else do you get to eat like this every night of the week?
Tommy, you're a little quiet over there. What's going on?
Back get hungry.
You want to know what my goal is this year?
What's that?
To surpass the hand that says you must be at least this tall to ride this ride.
Hey, you know what? They don't have those signs here at Tokyo Disney, just so you know.
That means I can ride every ride?
Absolutely.
Sweet! Yeah. And you can tell.
Hey, guys, just another quick toast. you know what? Truly, we are the luckiest people on the planet. I mean, I'm in Japan with 3 of my buddies and my Japanese friends, 3 of the greatest players to ever throw a bowling ball, some of the greatest food in the world. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. So here's to you and our Japanese friends. Kanpai.
Kanpai. Kanpai.
All right, guys, looks like a great time. And there is Tommy Jones. Speaking of great, what a season he had last year. Player of the year, hands down, 2-time Japan Cup winner here as well.
We had to tell Tommy and Norm that it wasn't an all-you-can-eat shabu-shabu restaurant.
Oh, that was delicious.
Don't forget, gentlemen, coming up next Sunday, ESPN has live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour, the USBC Masters, the first USA event of the 06-07 Denny's PBA Tour season. And it's a major to open up our season as well. Coming up next, though, you will not want to miss this championship match. Pete Weber against Walter Ray Williams Jr. going for the record. Walter Ray Williams Jr., a Hall of Famer. Pete Weber, son of a legend and a Hall of Famer himself. Their career accomplishments, incredible. Walter Ray has won 41 titles. PDW, 32. Last season at the Denny's World Championship in Indianapolis, Pete Weber made an incredible run. He made the finals against Walter Ray, trying to tie Earl Anthony's record for tour titles at 41. It was a day to remember for Walter Ray. He tied the record in defeating Pete Weber. Now he's 1 step shy. A win today, and he owns the all-time title record. He goes for it next. So the scene is set. Walter Ray Williams Jr., the number 2 seed, has advanced with a win over Ryan Shafer, 215-195, to take on the top seed in the stepladder format, Pete Weber. What a setting. The 2 legends of the game will face each other here in Tokyo. Walter Ray goes for the record. Pete wants more than anything to derail the Walter Ray Williams Jr. Express. We have got the dream matchup here, Randy. Pete and Walter Ray.
Walter Ray looks his usual stoic self. Pete Weber, to me, looks extremely nervous. Extremely uptight. How's he going to do in this match there, Norm?
Well, I think part of Pete wanted Ryan Shafer to win, seeing as how he was a little bit lost on the lanes, and Walter Ray is going to rise to the occasion. You just feel it. Part of Pete Weber wants Walter Ray. He wants to get off that snide, that 0-4 title match snide, so I think we're into it.
From St. Anne, Missouri, Pete Weber.
And Pete introduced to the crowd here, nearly 3,000 strong. A traditional Japanese bow to all the fans in attendance. Pete goes with the sunglasses, the traditional look. And these 2 PBA legends are set to go head-to-head. That's right, got by Ryan Shafer. Ryan had troubles at the end of that match. Now he goes for history. Great start, Norm.
You know, I expected Walter Ray to start right there to make a good shot. Randy, what do you think Pete Weber's going to do here? Is he going to move out? Or is he going to go in there where Robert Smith just trashed the inside?
Well, I watched Petey in practice, and he was playing right of 10.
Yeah, he's out.
And
he's out now.
I think that in his mind, he feels this is the only way he's going to beat or have a chance to beat Walter Ray.
Pete off to a good start himself. His 109th career singles appearance on TV. How about that? Ace hardware matchup, 2 Hall of Famers. Norm, how do you break it down?
Well, if you look at the graphic, all nods go to Walter Ray Williams. He's got him in career titles, career earnings, career TV appearances, etc. Not to mention, they're both playing a line that Walter Ray Williams is most comfortable at.
Yeah, but you know what? Pete Weber gave Walter Ray his 41st title. He doesn't want to be the guy he doesn't want to be remembered as the guy that gave him his 42nd one as well. And he's tired of being Walter Ray's whipping post. And so he's going to say, Walter Ray, I'm going to throw a bunch of those at you today.
Boy, that was a beautiful shot.
Career win 41 for Walter Ray. As we talked about, came last year in Indy. World Championship against Pete. Here, the 6-time Player of the Year tries to take down Pete again, with Earl Anthony's record standing as his goal. He will have the all-time tour title record with a win today. He looks like he's got a great line in the pocket as well, Norm.
Oh, both of them do, and it becomes, at this point, whoever wants it the worst. They're both lined up. It's an 8-frame game.
Pete can't stand to watch him bowl. He says, you know what, I don't want to watch this guy strike or trip anything funny or get lucky. And right now, there's no luck involved there. It's all skill because he's absolutely dead flushing every shot.
Yeah, it's a good thing he wasn't watching that shot.
Perfect release again from Walter Ray. Tracy with Pete. Making a long trip to here in Tokyo. She'll watch this shot. All 10 down for Pete Weber.
Wow.
Well, again, Petey, that's why he's a Hall of Famer. He can play any part of the lane. He said, you know what, Walter Ray, you don't want to play in with us? You're going to move right? Guess what? So am I.
One break like that can be the deciding factor in title matches. Pete may have gotten it early, but he got it.
What a start with so much at stake here between these two great bowlers. And look at Pete, he's turned away. He will not watch Walter Ray here. Can't do it. Well, he'll miss this shot. Late help on the 7.
And while in our other matches, the guys are struggling to break 200, you can see now that we have a Hall of Fame matchup. These two Hall of Famers, both starting with the front 4, both perfect.
Tracy amused. Her husband is under no circumstance going to watch Walter Ray go for another strike. He has it.
Well, he got away with the light hit there. That's the range that most people all day long have been shooting that flat 10 spare. That ball just folded in the right side of the rack up, giving him the 5-bagger.
Yeah, but that's most people. That's not this guy. We've seen this guy make a living at doing that stuff, Norm.
The front 5 for Walter Ray. Well, the top seed disadvantage. Last year's stepladder finals, they could not win it. Let's check out the Atomic Edge, Randy, with Pete Weber.
Well, he's got a beautiful swing, and it certainly didn't hurt any that his father was one of the greatest ever, Dick Weber. But you can see Petey's got a really high backswing, but it's actually lower than it used to be. And then look at the beautiful position at the foul line. And then, of course, in every sport, you must have good balance, and Petey's got great balance. And the result? Perfect.
The Atomic Edge with Pete Weber, who now goes for the front 5.
It's a little wide. Oh, but he gets the break.
Help on the 8, and the celebration from Pete Weber.
Ouch. You think Tracy's a little pumped? Pete Weber knows he needs this one to stay even with Walter Ray. He gets the huge break, and there's the celebration.
Now the triple. Hairs are standing up on my arms.
Front 5 for each. Looks for 6 in a row, didn't like it on the release, and that's why 4-7.
And possibly an over celebration in the 5th frame with that tipped 8-pin.
Yeah, you know, you can see Pete, he fell off balance there, looked like he got fast and he rushed it, and 9 times out of 10 when you do that, you end up pulling it left. But the good news is no split, it's 8 spare. The bad news is Walter Ray hasn't missed yet.
Pete Weber wishes he did have that strike in the 6th frame. Walter Ray goes for the front 6 when we return. His quest for the all-time tour title record resumes next. Welcome back, everyone. Tokyo Metro Gymnasium, opener of the 06-07 Denny's PBA Tour. Dave, Randy, and Norm with you, our entire crew. Walter Ray Williams Jr. A tremendous start. Looks for the front six. Has it as he goes for the tour title record here today.
Norm, our highest game that we've seen today is 222. Why? Pete Weber front 5, Walter Ray front 6. Why?
I think, you know, this is nuts. I would have said a 4-bagger clean by any player puts the other guy in fear factor mode. Why they've got 5 or 6 in a row, I don't know. I think it's just
Are they just that good?
That, and they're playing against one another, which I guarantee enters into it.
Another.
This is like whatever you can do, I can do better.
I mean, Walter Ray doesn't look like he's playing the lanes any different than he did the match before against Shafer, and he only bowled 215 that game.
Remember the last time these two titans of the sport met at the World Championship in Indianapolis? 236-213 was the score there. Pete wants the look back.
He's taking a re-rack here, Norm?
Yeah, he needed the re-rack right before this. He needed to settle himself down.
The question is, will it be enough? Because Walter Ray is locked in right now.
Well, you see what Petey's done in title matches against Walter Ray, and I think right now Petey's in one of those situations where he can't miss if he wants to win.
This has to strike.
It does not. 2-pin for Pete.
You know, he was high on the last shot on this lane, but he fell off balance. It was obviously his worst shot. This one didn't look near as bad.
No, it actually looked like it was on line, and if anything, it may have been just a shade fast, but the line he's playing, he's got to be throwing it pretty firm.
And what Walter Ray is doing with end-over-end roll, Weber is doing with spin and speed. He has to be a lot more precise than Walter Ray playing up the second arrow.
Well, it goes back to Windsor Locks. Remember that, guys, in the blizzard in Connecticut where Mika Koivuniemi against Jason Couch that day had the 300 game. Last on TV, 16th ever. Here's another for Walter Ray.
Well, Walter Ray's never bowled 300 on television, but he's had 3 of them bowled against him and a 299. One of those players sitting right next to you and I, Dave, and that's Norm Duke. So he knows what Walter Ray is going through right now. But right now, Walter Ray is thinking of one thing and one thing only, and that's winning this title.
And with a strike here, winning this title is exactly what he would do.
Guys, this is it. A strike here, he sets the record.
And that's it.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. has done it. He's wrapped up his 42nd career title. He has the record.
This is unbelievable to throw a shot this good with so much riding on it. The envy of all bowlers right there.
With the first 9 strikes, he has wrapped up the Japan Cup, and with it the all-time Denny's PBA Tour title record.
And Pete Weber at this point being considerate. Looks like he might not be trying. What he's trying to do is get out of Walter Ray Williams' way, knowing that Walter Ray could still become perfecto in the 10th.
If anyone can focus on the moment of trying to get the perfect 300 game after wrapping up the record, it would be Walter Ray Williams Jr., wouldn't it?
Well, it wouldn't surprise you any if he did. I mean, there's not a whole lot left for this guy to do except bowl 300 on television. He made the Big Four, the only player to do that. Now he's the king in terms of titles. So the only thing left would be to bowl 300 for the very first time.
And wouldn't that be a fitting end to the Japan Cup? Is to go to 42 total victories with the 300 game.
3 strikes away from perfection. On the day he sets the tour title record of 42. He's got that wrapped up. How about the 300 too, Walter Ray? There's 10.
Not just a strike. That's 10 in the pit, high flush.
Yeah, I think one time this whole game he hasn't been 10 in the pit. And like you said earlier, 222, highest game on television today. He steps up for the title with the front 10.
I mean, if there's any doubt who the greatest player in the world is, no matter what the lane conditions, no matter what the equipment's like, no matter what the format, this guy's gotten it done for a very long time. Keep in mind, he was Player of the Year back in 1986. 20 years ago.
One of his 6 Player of the Year awards. How about 11?
Well, looks good. Oh! Are you kidding me?
7-pin.
That's about the only thing that could stop Walter Ray.
I can't believe it. I can't believe he made that shot. I can't believe that he didn't strike making it.
Incredible how close it was.
Wow.
But he has already wrapped it up. He has won the Japan Cup, and with it, the 42nd career title to set the all-time record. Congratulations, Walter Ray Williams Jr. What a moment at the Japan Cup.
And he's about to get a sea of flowers, trophies, balloons, confetti. They do it right in Tokyo.
So there it is. Walter Ray has surpassed the late, great Earl Anthony with his 42nd career title. And it comes in a season opener here at the Japan Cup.
Boy, this shot was absolutely perfect. It leaves what we call stone 7 or solid 7-pin. Just an incredible shot. He's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, this whole arena is, you've got to be kidding me.
Walter Ray gets his 42nd career title. He thought when he first started bowling he would never have a chance to win number 42. He's done it. He holds the new record. Here in Tokyo, Japan, the man of the moment, no question about it. Walter Ray Williams Jr. He'll raise the trophy for a 42nd time in his Hall of Fame career. He has the all-time Denny's PBA Tour title record. An unforgettable day for Walter Ray.
He receives the traditional Japan Cup from Mr. Nakano. Congratulations, Walter Ray. You truly are the greatest.
Truly are the greatest in the world, no question.
Defeating Pete Weber in a very exciting final. Part of our Geico Championship recap. Norm, each bowler locked in to begin this match.
They were. I think Pete wins against anybody else on the telecast, but Walter Ray.
Walter Ray just doing what he does best. He got a feel for it in his first match against Ryan Shafer. Got lucky to get through that match and takes advantage of it. Doing what he does best, the high hard one around second arrow. And all he does to win his 42nd title and break the record, 289.
Almost had a 300 game. Just a 7-pin as he went for 11 straight strikes. But he'll win it and be happy to do so at 289, 236. He's now 5-0 all-time, head-to-head with Pete Weber in TV finals. He's got to be happy about this moment.
Walter Ray, congratulations on number 42. The record is finally yours. Describe your emotions.
It's just unbelievable. To win any tournament's awesome, and to somehow get to 42 is just unbelievable, and to do it against Pete Weber, who's one of the best bowlers ever, is just even more gratifying. To bowl the game I did, almost a 300, just wow, I can't believe it. I'm just tickled pink.
As low as the scores were and as tough as the lane conditions looked, did you ever think that you'd have a shot at shooting 300?
No, when I bowled the game against Ryan, I was actually surprised. I thought I could bowl a better game than that against Ryan, but the reaction wasn't quite there, and I moved just a pinch, and all of a sudden I had a really nice reaction. And I saw Pete was playing pretty close to where I was, so I'm thinking there must be a decent reaction there, and it just turned out, that was where I needed to be playing. Just that pinch left, and I was right there.
Folks, I said it once, and I'll say it again. Standing next to me is the greatest player to ever throw a bowling ball. Congratulations.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it.
Randy, thank you, and congratulations to Walter Ray today. A Denny's PBA Tour, we can say it now, on the road with the tour. Motor City Classic, November 1st through the 5th It wraps up with our TV broadcast in Taylor, Michigan. You see the Pro-Am times on the 1st and 4th in Taylor near Detroit. USBC Masters comes your way next Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern. It's a major to open up our season. Be sure to join us from Milwaukee. Now for the entire crew, Norm Duke, Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Tokyo. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.